Hey, what's going on, everyone? So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at Clone Pilot Hawk from the new Clone Wars line, the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm line. I was so happy to find all these in the store. I mean, Hawk, they had probably about 7 Hawks there. They probably had 12 Anakins. They had 3 Obi-Wans left, and after I left the store, they only had 2 Obi-Wans left. And I was so happy to grab the last Echo, because I think I cared about this one the most. But yeah, I got the last Echo. But I think Hawk is a pretty cool figure, and I love the packaging, the retro style packaging from 2008. I'm almost 100% sure it was 2008 when they released this first line in this packaging. And I think it's brilliant that they included the rangefinder in the card and the little fin that goes up the center of the helmet. That becomes the hook. It's just a killer idea. And through the window, you can see Hawk, and he just comes with a DC-15S. And you've got a nice picture of Hawk there. And on that side, you got the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm logo. And on the back of the card, you got the Lucasfilm Timeline and just a short little thing that they wrote here that just says, commemorate the first 50 years of Lucasfilm with figures inspired by Star Wars: The Clone Wars. And then down here, you got a whole bunch of stuff that no one's ever going to read. And on the bottom, you have the barcode and more stuff that no one's ever going to read. I'm going to get Clone Pilot Hawk open. Let's take a look at him. All right, so I got Clone Pilot Hawk open, and let's just take a look at him from head to toe. And I'm going to do some comparisons here in a minute between Bly as well as the Phase 1 Clone Lieutenant. Going to be comparing arms and legs because this is some reuse, but I think it's a pretty cool looking figure. I mean, I've seen some comments online, this figure getting a little bit of hate because it is a lot of reuse, but it's a unique helmet. And this is different, and I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, this helmet is awesome. It's so neat, like a little beak right there. Got some nice paint up here, these little feathers, and just like Echo, beautiful blue color. All these little lines in here are super clean. You got a little bit of blue right there, which is nice. Visor looks good, but just the shape of it, it's different. It's unique. And I like it. That's what the back looks like. Nice clean line back here. Got some nice texture showing through there. So these hoses are attached. They do not come off. And this little chest box, you think it's like loose, but it's not. It is glued somewhere up in here. But it's small. It sort of gets out of the way as far as two-handed aiming poses, but we'll get to that later. But it's kind of cool, but the paint is super clean on it. I really like this a lot. You got some nice texture on the hoses. Shoulder pads are a little dinged up, and it's just the shoulder pads that are dinged up. It's almost like you ran into a door frame, and then going out, he ran into the door frame again on this side. It's just kind of an odd spot for the only weathering. But, I mean, I like them. Beautiful blue color, and the armor looks good. Now, as far as comparing arms, so I am about 100% sure that these arms are Bly's arms because, you can see it's a double hinged elbow, but they have a little cutout right here, which allows his elbow to get past 90. Just like on Bly, there's a little cutout there. So I'm pretty sure they use Bly's arms because if you look at the Phase 1 Clone Lieutenant, that little cutout is not there on the arms, and this thing has terrible articulation. It's a cool figure, but just rotten articulation. So I'm pretty sure that they use Bly's arms. Yeah, moving on. I mean, it's got some nice blue there, a little bit of sort of asymmetry going on between this line and this line, but it looks good. I don't have a problem with it. In fact, I've seen all of them. They all kind of look like this on this side, so I guess that was intentional. You got a little bit of blue there, looks nice. Little communicator bit sculpted in there. The belt, standard Clone Trooper belt, and it is a separate piece. It will move freely, but it's got some nice sculpt on the pouches. This thing is just like all of them, yeah, but it looks good. And that's what his back looks like, very similar to what we've seen before. There's the Lieutenant again. It's practically the same, but it looks good. That's what the back looks like. The legs, here, let me get the Lieutenant again. The legs are, I think, the exact same legs. Yeah, pretty much the same legs, I'm about 100% sure. But you got a little bit of blue down here at the bottom of the knee pad, which looks nice. You got a little bit of scuffs there. And the bottom is just white clone armor, and it's the same sheen between the shins and the shoes. I like that a lot. Yeah, it's a cool figure. I like it, and I'm happy to have found it in the store, just sitting there. They probably had 7 or 8 of these at my Target. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this one. All right, so let's just look at articulation on Hawk. So the head is a little bit limited by these hoses. You don't have a whole lot of side to side. You got a little bit of down, but it wants to spring back up. Just kind of frustrating. And he can look up, but again, it kind of wants to spring back. And you have just a little bit of tilt there. Now, fortunately, they made it this time to where the shoulder pads will recess into the chest armor up here, so the arms on this one get all the way up, and they can rotate all the way around. So for arms, you have the same upper bicep swivel, which is kind of disappointing because it kind of limits any kind of aiming poses, but it is what it is. And because of this cutout right here, the elbows get way past 90, which is really, really nice. You've got a swivel at the wrist. The right hand is hinged up and down, and he's got a really nice trigger finger on the right. And the left hand is hinged side to side, but just like most of the troopers, this armor runs into that armor, so you don't get much in the way of out, but you do have some really nice in. He's got a swivel at the waist. You got very little crunch because this armor totally runs into the pouches. You've got some decent back though, and you have some okay side to side. He's got an upper thigh swivel, and if you rotate the legs out just a little bit, they can get up that far. And they go out that far. And they go back just a little bit. And he's got the double jointed knee, but the back of the knee pad gets trapped in there, and that's as far as that'll go, but that's not bad. Feet don't go down very much. The back of the shoe hits this armor piece, but they go up that far, and you've got some swivel at the ankle. And there's his blaster, the DC-15S. It's a cool weapon. I like it. I mean, it's just cast in black. This one is pretty solid compared to some. And one thing I've found, they made this one just a hair shorter than the one that came with the Clone Lieutenant. Just a couple of millimeters shorter. But it's a cool weapon. I like it. All right, so let's see how Hawk holds this blaster. So that goes right in. The trigger finger goes right through the trigger guard, which is really nice. You got a hint of wobble. It's not bad, but it's pretty stable. I mean, it's not going to fall out or anything. And I think he holds that pretty well in one hand. And if you flex the wrist up just a little bit, you can have him firing from the hip and straight out. That's what that looks like. I think the wrist hinge works pretty well. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And for two-handed aiming, I think that looks really, really good. This elbow is excellent. I mean, it's just like Bly's. Very, very good elbow. Now, these fingers were like concrete, so I had to bend them out a little bit to get them around this, what is supposed to be like a collapsible stock. And it sort of deformed the plastic. It turned color right there. Oh no, it's fine. I mean, from the front it looks good. This side looks good. From that side looks good. I mean, he's actually got decent articulation in the arms. I kind of wish they had a swivel down here instead of up here. But, that is not a bad look. And just having him at a relaxed, ready stance, I think that looks really nice. And having him at a relaxed, ready stance with the blaster up a little bit, I think this looks pretty good. And the fact that they made this chest box really small, you can still get the rifle up close to his body, it's a good look. I like it. Yeah, so overall, I'm pretty pleased with this guy. I'm pretty happy to have picked him up. I mean, the helmet is such a unique helmet. I mean, this alone, I think is worth the price of admission. I mean, just because we don't have any other clones with this helmet. And I think it's a pretty cool helmet. I like it a lot. And I love the paint up here. These little feathers, the red feathers, very cleanly applied. Beautiful blue. All the lines in here are nicely done. This little beak is kind of cool. But again, nice lines, beautiful paint. That is cleanly done. The hoses look good. Chest box is nice and small. It doesn't get in the way. And like I mentioned, he's got decent articulation in here. Shoulder pads look nice, and it's nice that these actually recess into the chest this time. The rest of him, it's very basic, but I think it's a really nice trooper. Yeah, but please comment below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Share your thoughts on Clone Pilot Hawk from this new Clone Wars line. I, for one, I like this guy. I think he's a pretty cool trooper. And if you like videos like this, please consider dropping a like on this video and subscribing to the channel. I'm always doing Black Series figure reviews, so smack that little notification bell. I'd certainly appreciate it. And I just thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll just see y'all next time.